Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the video, and today I'll be doing a review of the FX803 Piper J3 Cub, as you can see here. And I just want to say right off that my front propeller is broken. You'll see in my flight review, I actually, because it was so cold out and it was super windy when I did the video, I crashed into my house and it broke the one side off. However, this is a dummy propeller. Actually, these two propellers here are the ones that are actually powered. You can see they have motors on them, so the front was just for looks, so it didn't really affect it at all. Now this one was sent to me from cndirect.com, and what it comes with is a radio here, and now this is a 2-channel radio, which means you only have throttle and your rudder. However, it's not actually rudder because there's no control surfaces on this, no ailerons, no elevator, no rudder. It's all solid. It just uses differential thrust from the two motors, which is pretty clever. Keeps the cost down. It's only about a $20 plane, so it's pretty cool. And then in the middle of your transmitter, you have a little knob left and right, which is your trim. And it takes 6 AA batteries, and that is because you can charge it off of the transmitter. It has a little USB port here, which you plug the USB charger in to charge your plane. However, you can't plug like other things, like say your phone charger into there and charge off of that. So that's kind of disappointing, but be aware that you're taking the power out of your batteries in your remote. So if you do that too much, you'll have to replace your batteries more often. Comes with a set of 2 spare props for the motors there, so a full set. A little USB charging cable ending in the 1.25mm micro JST plug, I believe. Pretty common. And then you have a little 1-sheet instruction manual here. Lists the different models. You can see they have different kinds. The 803 is right there, which I have, but they have a couple other models from FX. Pretty simple, you know, there's not really too many instructions to go over, and it goes off on how to hand launch it, some tips on that. And it also, since it does have landing gear, as you can see here, they come with landing gear, and it has this little skid in the back. So not an actual wheel, but that skid's just fine. So you can also take off from the ground. However, since it's only a 2-channel plane, and you use your throttle to give upwards, like to gain altitude, it's really hard to actually land this, like come in, because you kind of just go into the grass like that. So it's really hard to land without control surfaces, but I've not had any damage really besides this prop here. And that's actually a good thing, because this prop protects everything else. Since it's just a dummy prop, it's a really good, you know, protector to keep everything else safe. And the plane is super lightweight. Like you can see the wings here, I can just bend them up, but they just go right back to shape. They don't hold that shape, which is really good because it's super flexible and lightweight, and I don't get, unless you like sat on it, I don't get how you're gonna break it. And in the on the wheel here, on this one, you can see that little black peg that held the wheel from coming off, but on a sort of a crash landing, I lost this one, so I just put a drop of hot glue there, and that keeps the wheel on this side from spinning off, and it still rotates freely. On the bottom here, you can see the, I'm not sure if it's the flight controller or what, but just the board where it plugs in and everything. Your battery is internal, and there's your port, and you have an on-off switch. And when you turn that on, you can see there's a light there, so that's nice to let you know when you're bound. And when you do bind, you have to give up, down your throttle, wait like a second, and then you can go. And now, if you're coming, this is a kind of confusing thing to learn. Like if you're coming in and say you know you're about to crash, since I'm used to planes with control surfaces, I cut the throttle, but then I try and turn out of the way, continue to turn with the rudder or the differential thrust there. But since that, even though you're cut throttle, it'll still be using the left motor to turn right. So you have to, if you're going to know your crash, just let go of both sticks with your throttle all the way down. And now this is a pretty good, cheap beginner's plane. Like I said, it's only 2 channels. And it's about $20, something like that. I'll leave a link down to CN Direct where they sent it to me. It's a pretty decent plane. It does glide well. Without my prop here, so now there's even less nose weight. You can see in my review, it kind of like goes way up and down like that now, because without that weight. But I could even that out. But I do have some footage from when it was still on there. However, it was a super windy day, so it doesn't really do it justice. But it's a nice little calm park flyer. You know, not much to it. It flies well. And I've been getting about a 30-minute charge time off the USB charger, and a little bit more, maybe a 40-minute charge time off the controller there. And then I've been getting somewhere around 10 minutes of flight, because it doesn't take much to keep this in the air. Much power, much throttle, so, you know, pretty nice long glider. So there we go, that was my review. Like I said, pretty simple, not much to go over. So let's go check out the flight footage. Okay, here we are for the flight of my FX803 sent to me from cndirect.com. As you can see, I have it out here. I'll just show you start up here quick. So you just flip this little switch on the bottom and there's a light in there. And then you just turn on your remote and it'll blink, and you just give up, down throttle, and then you should be bound. So there we go, and I'll try and taxi the iron. It's really windy out right now, pretty calm. Just a second. I can't because of the wind. This is definitely not an ideal time to fly it, but it's the only time I've had in like 2 weeks. See the wind just flipped it over there. So let's take off into the wind here. So here we go. And got up. And as you can see, the wind is just butchering it here. Try and keep it in the air as best as I can. And you kind of have to tap the turning to get it to turn there. And then it's a 2-channel plane, so all you have is throttle and rudder, but you don't even have a rudder. It's just differential thrust from the 2 motors. That front propeller is fake. As you can see, even in this wind, it's actually still flying, so it's definitely a indoor, just managed to stay up there. It's definitely an indoor, no wind plane, but I am managing to get it to stay in the air flying, so there's nothing special to it. You can't do any loops or rolls, and you kind of need to make wider turns to maintain your altitude. There's cut throttle, so it's a nice glider. Oh, man. But yeah, and the flight times are pretty good. I've been getting, the wind really like stalled it backwards there. It's picking up quite a bit. Whoops. Here we are back again. Sorry about that. The wind had a gust and it took it, and it actually broke this little propeller up here, so I guess I'm gonna have to glue that or take that off. That's just for impact reasons, but the wind took it and I couldn't turn in time. So let's just start off a little hand toss. As you can see, you can hand toss it. This wind is just killing it. But like I said, I'm sorry, this is really the only day I've had to fly it where it was even just this little wind and not snowing or raining and this bright enough out in like a month. So that's why this review is late, because I've had no time to shoot the video for this. But overall, it's a pretty nice plane. I like it. I mean, it's about $20. Definitely more aimed towards beginners, flyers, or a first plane. It's not that easy to fly, but it is fairly easy compared to like a 4-channel plane. Let's try and keep it going here. Let's try and come right past the camera. See, it looks pretty cool, and for landing gear you just have the 2 main wheels, then there's like a little slider in the back. It just slides on that piece of plastic, so not the best, but it'll do plenty fine. And I have not been able to really land this successfully ever, because it's just so hard. But let me bring it in here. Okay, here we are back again. I'm just going to add this quick little flight into, as you can see, my propeller's broken, and this is the, a day later from the footage you were just watching. As you can see from that crash into the house there, my propeller broke, the fake one up front, the dummy propeller. I'm doing this just because, I can actually, since it's a lot more tail, a lot more tail heavy, and it pitches up a lot more, I can actually do some loops now, and it's just a lot brighter out and a lot calmer of a day, so I just thought I'd do this to give you a little bit more flight footage, better flight footage. So I'm going to do a wing throw here. Yep, as you can see, it just pitches like straight up, so now it really glides and hardly uses any throttle to stay up. Because if you give it full throttle, it'll go right up like that. So coming down is actually kind of hard. Because full no throttle, that's no throttle there. It's really nice glide down. You can see it's a little bit harder to fly because it constantly pitches up, but it's definitely a lot more aerobatic. But it's a different plane. I mean, I could put some weight on the propeller or just put something else on there to keep it like it was before, but I kind of like it this way. Oh, I did a loop there, but I don't know if you saw that. I wasn't high enough up to, I thought I could make it all the way around. So let's just, a little bit here. Oh, the front propeller's finally spinning a little bit. Before it was just hanging there. And it doesn't really spin at all, at least fast enough to make it off balance from vibration. But it spins slow enough you actually see it going around, so that's pretty cool. As you can see, I'm going to try and do a loop. Kind of have to go up high and then pitch down. Whoa, oh, almost hit the trees there. And got it. I did a loop. We're almost right into the trees, so let's bring it back in here. See how good of a landing I can get onto the grass here. Little crash landing, but probably the best one. It's a little bit easier to land without that weight. So let's go back to the original footage to finish out the review. So let's go back to that. So there we go. That was my review of the FX803 Piper J-3 Cub. Cool little plane for $20. I'm sorry for the wind buffeting here, but pretty good plane overall. Nice 2-channel. Definitely aimed towards beginners and not a bad plane at that. So that was my review. Please subscribe if you aren't already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.